Hola, good evening, how are you? Let me just move you a little bit. That's it. I was a bit up close then. Felt like it was a close-up. You know, you have a close-up picture and you look at it and you're like, bloody hell, I don't need to be that close, especially when we're all au natural at the moment. Like, eyebrows have faded, I've got no lashes on, Botox is non-existent. It's all gone south. Do you know what? I'm actually quite enjoying it. I'm quite enjoying going back to basics with everything. It's quite nice. I don't know if any of you guys are finding the same in many different ways. I don't just mean with stuff like that in how we look, but yeah, I'm enjoying. We've had so much good news here in Spain. So we're day 44 today of our lockdown, and I believe it's one of the tightest, strictest lockdowns in the world, and it's faced a lot of controversy really. Some people think it's brilliant, some people think it's too much like communism, like you hear all sorts of stuff being said about it, but we are on the up. We are on the up, not in infection rate though, in terms of optimism and hope. It feels here in Spain like we were on this big downward turn, downward spiral, and everything felt all doom and gloom and life was very different and there was no end in sight. And it feels like everything's just plateaued and is starting to climb back to, I'm not going to say normality, because I think it would be an awful shame if everything just went back to normal. There's so much that we as a human race can learn from this and take from this and do differently. But a new normal is going to be created, and I feel like we're on the upward climb of that, and that's exciting. Like, we've just been given the go-ahead to take children out for exercise. Adults are looking like they can go out for exercise from May 2nd. And we're seeing the plans to lift the restrictions every week from there. So it's really exciting. And before we kick off with today's training on the 3 things that you can do as a business owner or as somebody that's starting a business this week that can help you thrive through crisis and earn more money. The 3 things that I've done to increase my revenue over the last 45 days without leaving the house. That's what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. But before we dive into that, I would love to know who's here. First of all, say hello, because it's nice to see who's catching me live. Now, a lot of you have been telling me, and I want to hear your feedback on this. A lot of you have been telling me that you log into these lives religiously every week. I was chatting to a lady yesterday, you know who you are, a good friend of mine, old friend of mine, who said, I don't think I've ever missed one of Soul Centered Millionaire TV in the 18 months that it's been running. So that's huge. But some of you have been saying to me that because your routines have changed, you found it more difficult to catch it at this time, 9 p.m. Spanish, 8 p.m. UK, might be different wherever you are in the world, and that you'd like it a bit earlier. I'd love your feedback on that. So speak to me in the comments and tell me, has your routine changing affected you being able to show up here and catch me live? And is that a problem, or do you want to just catch up on replay, or do you like to see it live and get involved? Please tell me that. I would love to hear that. And who have I got logged in today? Comment and say hi when you're here. I can't seem to see comments again. This happens, and it doesn't matter how much I swipe, they don't come up. It looks like it's happening again. The Facebook business page for months now has been incredibly glitchy. Sometimes it just takes the button away and won't let you go live at all. Other times it lets you go live but it doesn't let you speak to people, which is kind of the point of a live. So it looks like it's doing it again now. So I'm going to just log in on a different device and see if I can see you there. But while I'm doing that, guys, just comment and tell me what I just asked you. But also tell me, where are you logging in from and what day of lockdown are you on? So where in the world are you and what day lockdown are you on at the moment? Right, so I still can't see your comments on my screen here, but let me see. But your comments are appearing on a different device. So That's okay. We can improvise and I can view them in a different way. So let's dive in, because I don't want to keep you guys longer than I need to. I can now hear myself because I'm coming through this device. Technology is bloody brilliant, isn't it, until it fails. So, okay, let's get cracking. I'm going to keep your comments up here so that I can see them. It's not even letting me see them on here now. Do you know when you just want to throw it through the freaking window? That's where I'm at right now. I'm going to go back to each comment at the end. So please share with me the things that I'm asking you to share with me, because they are really important. And I'll go back at the end and reply to you and read everyone. Okay, so let's get going. So the three things that I'm going to share with you today. I think one of the biggest wins that has come from lockdown, and don't get me wrong, we wouldn't choose this, would we? None of us would have chosen it, because of the amount of people that have lost their lives and got sick and lost loved ones, and there's some absolute tragedies that have come from it. So I'm not trying to make light of the coronavirus and the lockdown and quarantine situations at all, but there are a lot of things that have come from it that are good, and it's important to focus on them, and there's lots. I'm not going to list them, but one of the big things for me has been seeing so many people that have taken their business online. So many people that probably wouldn't have made the time to learn the things that they've learned and apply themselves in the way that they have, and really push the online side of their business. Some people didn't even have an online side of their business. They were traditional businesses that weren't embracing online ways of working at all, that have suddenly had to. Even people that you wouldn't think it would be possible to build an online business, that you would look at their business and think, you're fucked, you are screwed, are absolutely smashing it. Some examples of some people that I've worked with recently that through this situation have launched an online branch of their business, and you would look at them and think, what? People like estate agents. You'd think, wouldn't you, that no one's buying and selling houses. I'm working at the moment with estate agents that are absolutely killing it because they're thinking differently to their competitors. Travel agents, you would think they're some of the worst hit. I'm talking to travel agents and working with travel agents that have opened different branches of their business to bring in revenue quickly, and have already started filling next year's bookings. And it's not affecting money in their pocket, it's not affecting food in their mouth, it's not affecting their bills being paid. Dog groomers, dog walkers, salon owners. You'd think, wouldn't you, if no one can walk in your salon, there's nothing I can do. And there'll be a lot of business owners that are sat at home thinking, well, there's nothing I can do. I just can't. But the moment we say, I just can't, we block every little bit of inspiration of what we could be doing. And these people, these women, are examples of people that haven't said, I just can't. They've said, how can I? And then they've gone looking for the answers on how they can. And that's probably one of the biggest wins that's come from this for me. Not one of these people that I've just described to you, the estate agent, the travel agent, the dog groomer, the dog walker, the salon owner, photographers has been another one. Not one of them has left the house to build their business. They've all done it online, remotely, and anybody can. Now, I've got a question for you that I want to see you answer in the chat box, and this could be a great opportunity for you to advertise yourself as well. I want to know what business you're in. So can you comment below, and can you tell me and everybody else listening what type of business you run? Even if it's a traditional business that's not online, just share it. Who do you help with your business? So who's your ideal client? And are you online with it or not? Like, where are you at? Are you somebody that's thinking, I know I really need to get online, but I don't know where to start? Are you somebody that's not launched your online business yet? Are you somebody that's been online for a while? Are you somebody that's always been in the online space and your business is predominantly online? Comment in the chat box. Let's give us that information. I'll go back and look in a bit because, as you know, I can't see the comments, bloody Facebook. So the question tonight that we're answering is, so how have I seen an increase in my sales, not a dip, not a plateau, an increase in my sales and my turnover in my online business? And how are all these people that I've mentioned and more thriving through the coronavirus crisis and not just replacing income that they might have lost, but actually having more of it? So a really good example of this would be one of the travel agents that I'm going to share their story with you. So very quickly, one of the travel agents that I'm working with at the moment. So she immediately said, right, we said together, what's my short-term goal and what's my long-term goal? Short-term, people can't go anywhere at the moment, or not many people can book holidays right now. So short-term, my cash flow can't necessarily come from big bookings. It can come from deposits for next year, but what else can it come from? So we made a short-term plan, and one of those short-term plans involved her launching a different branch of her business. And it's really interesting because that branch had nothing to do with booking holidays, but it had everything to do with what she knew and her zone of genius. One of the things that we recognised together was that a lot of the people that follow her are two types of people. One, travel enthusiasts, and two, people that have booked holidays with her before, like friends and family who know what she does. So we looked at that and said, right, what's the low-hanging fruit? How can we package something together that you can sell now that doesn't require other people to get on a plane or travel to receive it? Let's think outside the box. And she couldn't think of anything that she wanted to spend time doing in such a short space of time. She didn't want to spend loads of time developing a course or program based on the things she knew, because she said, you know, by the time I've done that and launched that, I'm probably going to be switching things up again. So what I would rather do is sell something else. So one of the things I said to her was, all you've got to do to make money online is know how to sell something to someone online, something that's of value to someone else, and be able to find them, put it in front of them, and have them buy it. That's all you've got to do to make money online, is work out how to do that. That's all you've got to do. And she thought about it and she said, well, it doesn't have to be my product or service then. I was like, no, absolutely not. So tell me about a product or service that you love, that you could potentially become an affiliate of and sell. She'd done a course that led her to run a travel business, because she was once just a travel enthusiast with a dream of building a business in the travel world. That was where she was at, and she didn't know how to start. And she did a course that was for travel enthusiasts that wanted to learn how to make money online, that led her to be a travel agent. And it was a short mini course that cost her £500, and it changed her life because it set her on the track of running the business that she's running. And this was a couple of years ago. I said, right, reach out to the person that has that course and ask them if they do an affiliate program. Most people do. She found out they did, and it was 50%. So for every person she recommended this course, she earned £250. We developed a strategy to get that course in front of people like her. People that are travel enthusiasts that want to learn how to make money online. She could endorse it. She could say with her hand on her heart that she trusted it. Because this is it. You don't have to even have a product or a service of your own to make money online. And she's living proof of that. We had together generated over £4,000 worth of sales in a very, very short space of time. And she said to me, do you know what, Michelle, even if I'd have gone hell for leather on booking holidays, it would have took a lot more work to get £4,000 in my pocket. She was a few days before that thinking, oh shit, what about my bills? But when you start asking different questions, you start changing the course of the path that you're on, because you get resourceful and you start finding the answers. And she's a great example of that. Now, I'm going to share 3 of the things that I do and I help my clients do to thrive through crisis, whether it's this crisis now or whether it's crisis in the future. Because there's one thing that's sure enough, is that nothing's sure. You know, nothing's certain, and I'm certain of that. We don't know what's around the corner, nobody does, but one thing we can always rely on is the things that we do and the way we think to thrive in times where the majority of people, the 98% of the population, are doing something different, panicking, coming from a place of fear and pulling back. These 3 things are going to help you to implement things this week, like now, that can make the biggest difference, whether you're an existing business owner going to the next level or someone starting from scratch. Get ready. Number 1, create your own economy. Let's think about this word for a minute, economy. I have created my own economy for the last 10 years in my own business. It hasn't mattered to me whether what the euro's doing against the pound, what the pound's doing against the dollar. It hasn't mattered to me whether in the news we are being told we are heading for recession or not. I've created my own economy. None of that stuff has impacted my reality, and it doesn't have to impact yours either. Because if we just think about what economy is for a moment, who controls the economy? Who creates the state of the economy? People do. People do. Money hasn't disappeared, folks. If you start thinking there's less to be had because we're in crisis, I can tell you now it's not true. Nobody has taken money out of the world and stashed it away in a vault and said, we can't have that now because of the coronavirus. There is still the same amount of money in circulation today as there was in January. Whose hands it falls into will depend on who thinks differently and acts differently. But that's always been the case with or without the coronavirus. There is always going to be the people that take opportunities and the people that miss them. There is always going to be the people that go without and the people that have enough. That's life. You get to choose which camp you're in every time. Do some people have it harder than others? Yes, absolutely. Depending on what country you're in. And what I mean is when you're in third world countries and you don't have access to the internet, that makes a big difference. But for the most part, we choose our own economy. There is still the same amount of money in the world today as there was on the 1st of January this year. None of that's changed. Is it harder to be able to generate cash flow? No, it's not. It's no harder than it always has been. In fact, for people like me and for people like you, it's easier because where people are going, oh shit, it's going to get hard now. Recession's going to hit now. They're pulling back. That's what causes recessions. When you start thinking it's going to be harder for me to sell something, guess what happens? It becomes harder for you to sell because that's what you're preparing for. You will always get what you prepare for. When you start thinking it's going to be harder for me to pay my bills, therefore I need to cut back, you stop spending, which means the people you used to spend with, their businesses become affected, and that's how recessions start. Recessions are created by people, not by situations. It's by the way we think, and we get to make our own economy. So you get to choose today to choose your economy. Am I going to be someone that thrives? Am I going to be someone that's not? We know that 98% of the wealth in the world is in like the hands of maybe 3% of the people. And we also know that if we were to take that wealth and distribute it evenly across everybody in the population, it would be a very short window of time before it was back with the same 3%. Why? Why? Because of the way they think and because of the actions that they take, because they're creating their own economy. We always are. And that hasn't changed because there's something called the coronavirus on the loose. Nobody has taken the money and put it in a secret vault and said there's less for everybody now. There's the same amount circulating. There's the same opportunity for you to take what's yours. And if you take what's yours, then you get the privilege of giving as well. This isn't about me, but you've got to create wealth in order for you to be able to contribute to other people that may be less fortunate and may have less opportunity to create it. Everybody that's logged in tonight is fortunate. If you've got internet and you've got a device to log in through, you have no excuse not to make money. So that's number one, create your own economy. Number two, CIA. You're going to want to write this down. I live by this. Whenever faced with a challenge or a problem or a circumstance that feels uncomfortable, CIA. Really easy to remember because you think of it like the CIA. What does it stand for? It stands for control, influence, and accept. When faced with change, and some of you have had to change, some of you have had to change your business, some of you have had to change what you offer in your business, some of you have had to change the way you work, but not one of you has had to give up anything. Not one of you has had to earn less. That is a choice because you get to choose how quickly you adapt, how quickly you shape things up, and how quickly you become in the small percentage of people that create opportunity and choose their own economy. One of the ways you do this is by establishing CIA when faced with a change or a challenge. What is in my control right now? It's a really important question because so many people, the reason they run around in circles not creating their own economy and not thriving through crisis is because they're focusing on the things that are outside of their control. Like, oh my God, my salon's shut, so I can't have people walk through the door and serve them anymore, therefore I've got no money in my till. Oh my God, the government won't let me open. It's all the things that you can't control. There's no point in worrying or thinking about things that you can't control. So we're thinking here in the C for the CIA, what can I control? What is within my control? It's like some of the salon owners that I've been speaking to recently and even working with recently. I've spoken to a lady on Saturday who's a good friend of mine, got a really successful salon, and it's shut, and there's not a damn thing she can do about it, but she's not wallowing in the things that she can't control. She said to me, Michelle, here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to, and she starts talking about the things she can control and how she was going to alter her business model, launch something online in the short term that was more of a training and information business whilst she couldn't run the salon in its normal capacity, because she's an entrepreneur thinking like an entrepreneur. We look at what we can control, not what we can't. What can I influence? There's things that I can't control, but I can certainly influence. Things that you can influence normally are things like people, for example. You can't control people, but you can influence them. So what do I need to change in my marketing or sales strategy so that I can influence in the way I need to influence right now to get the best out of what I offer and how I offer it? And what do I need to accept? The things that you need to accept are the things that you can't change. So there's no point in thinking about them. There's no point in strategizing around them, or we just need to accept them, let it go. Most of our hardship, worry, stress, anxiety comes from trying to do this the other way around, trying to control the things that we should be accepting and forgetting to influence and forgetting to look for the things that we could control instead. And all these things are really important. These are attitude shifts. I said in my mentor group this morning, we were talking about how you become who you need to become to have the success that you want to have. Success isn't handed to you, it's a process of becoming. And this is what we were talking about. And I said, you know, if you think about the word become, think about that word, become. When you be who you need to be, the results come. And this is the stuff that I'm talking about when we think the way we need to think. This is why it's not the other way around. You don't just get to have whatever you want and then suddenly you be the person that deserves it, because then the word would be come be. And everyone was laughing at me because I used the word come be. It sounds almost rude, but it's true. It's become. The process of becoming comes before the things that you want to come into your life. You achieve your goals when you be the person you need to be. And it's the way we think about success. It's the way we approach challenges and situations, and anybody can choose to be better in that area. Point 3, learn how to sell something online to someone. It really is that simple. All you have to do right now to create your own economy online is learn how to sell something to someone. It doesn't matter what that something is, and it doesn't matter who that someone is, as long as it's ethical and as long as it's something that you can get behind. So I gave you an example earlier of the lady in travel that I've been working with recently who said to me, do you know what, Michelle, I love my travel business. I want to help people book awesome holidays. It's what I absolutely buzz from doing. I would need something in the short term why people aren't going anywhere, but I don't want to spend loads of time creating a course or program, because chances are in 12 months I'm not going to be selling it anymore, because I'm going to be focusing on what I always have been focusing on. I need something in the short term. And I described to you this example of how she thought of somebody else that has a course or program that her network would love. And then all she did was ask to become affiliate and learn how to market that thing to her network, how to sell that thing to her network. And I've helped so many people sell things that aren't theirs for a profit. Affiliates are awesome, and most people, most products offer affiliates. Most of them do. So you haven't even got to create something to create your own economy. You haven't got to be an inventor that invents a product and then has to work out the logistics of distributing it to people. None of that stuff applies in the social media economy, the online economy. And you get to create your own economy. So they're the 3 things that you can start. Are they the only 3 things we do? Of course not. But they're the 3 things that you can begin to do right now that will make a massive difference in where you are this time next week, let alone this time next year. So just to recap, create your own economy, because you can, it's in your control. Number 2, CIA. And number 3, learn how to sell something to someone, because anyone can do that online. Now, lots of you have been asking me about mentorship. I've had a lot of messages and emails, and we don't have anything immediately. We've got a bit of a wait list that's backed up, and I'm not going to have any space for new mentorship clients until July, end of July, July 30th to be exact. And we've already started to take places, enrolments for July 30th. So if you're someone that's thinking, do you know what? By July 30th, I want to be in a space where I'm in a mentorship group and I'm going for the next level. Reach out now, because we need to be having those conversations ready for July 30th, because any minute now, that enrolment's going to be full and we're going to be looking at even further on in the year. So this is for mentorship. This is for people that are ready to be mentored by me and my team, handheld, guided through the stuff that you need to know to launch a really successful online business or scale an existing one to create your own lucrative economy. And that's what this is all about. If you take nothing from today's video, it's that you get to choose your economy. No one chooses that for you. It doesn't matter if someone's telling you the economy's shot to bits and we're going to take years to recover and recession's looming and all of that stuff. None of that's relevant to you if you make it so. Thanks for listening. Speak to you soon, guys. Lots of love.